the South China Sea, it's down to trash talking. The Philippines has tried everything to repel the Chinese armada. First, they made a peaceful appeal. China did not budge. Then their Navy ordered the PLA to leave. That didn't work either. So now their top diplomat has let loose on social media. This is what their foreign secretary, the Philippines foreign secretary, wrote on Twitter. Unfortunately, I cannot read it out for you because the language is quite colorful. But let me say this. Most of the world shares this sentiment, and they're tired of being bullied by China. The foreign secretary did not stop there. He compared China to an ugly oaf. Now, this may sound outrageous to many, but if you skim through his Twitter feed, you'll find this is his style. He once said, usual suave diplomatic speak gets nothing done. And with China, that's actually the case. Beijing did respond to the comments. They said megaphone diplomacy does not work. Look who's talking. China has hundreds of wolf warriors spreading propaganda for a living. If that is not megaphone diplomacy, what is? So the war of words continues on the one side, but what about the Chinese vessels in Filipino waters? They're still there on the longest fishing expedition in human history. We're closing in on 2 months here. So either the Chinese really love their fish, or these men are just really bad at fishing. The reality, of course, is neither. These are not fishing boats at all. These are PLA warships. Since 2016, the Philippines has filed 78 diplomatic protests against China. All of them have been ignored. So President Duterte is changing tack. He's pursuing a harder line, more maritime patrols, and zero negotiations on sovereign waters. But the Philippines is just a tryout. China wants total Pacific domination. And it's got a new weapon to do just that. The Jin-class nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, or the Type 094A. It was unveiled last Friday on the PLA Navy's 72nd anniversary. What's so special about this submarine? It is armed with a long-range missile. By long range, I mean 10,000 kilometers, which means the missile can theoretically hit anywhere in the US mainland. The missile is called the JL-3. It can carry multiple warheads, including nuclear ones, and the payloads are devastating. Experts say it is almost 67 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. So this is a weapon of mass destruction in all senses, a clear sign of escalation. How vulnerable does this leave the US? You see, there are a string of American bases guarding the Pacific. China's new sub will have to slip past all of these to enter striking distance. And this is where China has always faltered. Their weapons are clunky and loud. So American radars pick them up easily. This new submarine is supposedly different, but we haven't seen it in action. And we hope we don't. So we'll have to take China's word for it. Just like the Philippines, most Pacific nations are running out of patience with China. The latest one to speak out is New Zealand. Until now, they've largely stayed away from direct comments. A live and let live approach. But on Monday, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern admitted that the differences are becoming harder to reconcile.
And it will not have escaped the attention of anyone here that as China's role in the world grows and changes, the differences between our systems and the interests and values that shape those systems are becoming harder to reconcile. This is a challenge that we and many other countries across the Indo-Pacific region, but also in Europe and other regions, are also grappling with.
This is not a change in stance. This is not a promise of a hawkish China policy. This is an admission. And it's important because this is another country voting against a China-led world order. So what is the world planning to do about it? Plans are being drawn on the other side of the globe, in London. That's where the G7 is meeting. On today's agenda are China and Russia. The talks are expected to cover two bases. One is upholding democracy and human rights, and the second is building a rules-based international order. In other words, counter China. America's top diplomat Antony Blinken outlined the group's plan ahead of the talks. Listen in.
President Biden's been very clear for a long time, including before he was president, that if Russia chooses to act recklessly or aggressively, we'll respond. But we're not looking to escalate. We would prefer to have a more stable, more predictable relationship. It is not our purpose to try to contain China or to hold China down. What we're trying to do is to uphold the international rules-based order that our countries have invested so much in over so many decades, to the benefit, I would argue, not just of our own citizens, but of people around the world, including, by the way, China.
The West has been talking China for a long time, but the G7 could be a game changer. This is a group with a combined economy of $40 trillion, not to mention 3 nuclear powers. So if the plan is to make China pay, the G7 is the place to start. We'll be watching.
One thing is certain, people. Prophecies is going to go forward. Okay? And remember, history repeats itself. Okay? Because China has over 1 million people, pedestrians, families, businesses they have here in the Philippines where I'm located. Okay? Chinatowns, banks, etc. Okay? Even though America, the Americans, the Edomites have 5 military bases here. Okay? And they are also holding hands up underneath the table with China. Because overall, remember, people, the New World Order that they're trying to implement with the MOB. So they cannot control unless they bring chaos and then they bring order back in, because the dollar is worthless. All right? So they cannot get the people to take that jab like they intended on the people to be so docile to do. That is closing in on them. Time is closing in on Esau, Edom. All right? So their agenda is, let's just read what the Bible say. Let's see what the book of Job, and I'm going to read chapter 5 and verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So this is an enterprise agenda. Okay? Because when you make war, you have to fund that war. Things have to be written out. They have to be coordinated, put together in a systematic form. Because I sit outside and see these drones flying, taking pictures at night. Here where I'm at in Southeast Asia, in the country. Okay? Because you can't get a grip on the people that have these fresh markets. Okay? You can't get a grip on these people that have these fresh animals. Okay? You can't subjugate so easily a poor country like you can a rich country. Okay? So you're going to have to bring chaos in a high fashion. And I'm going to read that chaos right now. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at 48. And thou, Asia, that are partakers of the hope of Babylon. Babylon means the land of confusion. All right? That's the land of the north, which is also spiritually called Egypt, where our prophets, the majority of them are. That's America. Okay? and art thy glory of her person. Woe means destruction be unto thee, thou wretched, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. Okay, so who has made thyself like unto Babylon? Asia, where I'm at sitting right now. Okay, because you got McDonald's, you have Starbucks, you have Burger King, you have KFC. Okay, you have the U.S. Embassy here. You have 5 military bases from the U.S. here. Okay, remember, people, history repeats itself. Okay, keep reading. And has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions thereof, said the Lord. Continue, 49. I will send plagues upon thee. Widowhood. Okay, we know what that is. A loss of what? Husbands. Okay. Poverty. Famine. Sword. And pestilence. That's going on now. To waste thy houses with destruction and death. Okay, continue. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. So that glory that they have been partakers of after Babylon the Great, okay, that glory that they've received after with their market, okay, and their strategy, because this place was colonized, okay, this place came under imperialism, under democracy that was forced on the people. Because if you go back in the history, they mass murdered and killed a lot of so-called Filipinos. And I say that because they're from, biblically, Jaffa. Okay? That's their biblical identity. Just like the so-called Chinese. Their biblical identity is they are the Moabites in the Bible. Okay? When thou hast, let me read that. Let me start at 50 again. Salaki on that. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower, when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee. That heat is going to be what she just described, what China say they have. Okay? All right? That new nuclear submarine. All right? Because remember, people, who's back in China? Who has China's back? Who's backing them up? Russia. All right? Russia. Okay? Let's continue, people. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, and let's go to chapter 16, and I'm going to read verse 1. Start at 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Okay, because we already know, you can Google what is taking place in Syria. You can Google their recent history and what it looks like there. Looks like a war zone. Egypt is a synonymous for bondage. Babylon, confusion. Okay? Grid up thyself with cloth and shack. Okay? And hair. Bewail your children, and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you? And what is he that may drive them away? Okay? May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood? Or may any one quench the fire in the stubble when it has begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? So those things cannot be done. And like I said, people, in the beginning, prophecies is going to be fulfilled. Prophecies is going to be fulfilled because they cannot get a grip on the people in this third world country. They can't control it. So they're going to have to bring chaos in order to implement their order, their MOB. Okay? This is what's going to have to happen. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 5, and I'm going to read verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be bare of faith. Okay? Verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. Okay? Verse 3. In the land that thou seest now to have root, shall thou see wasted suddenly. Okay, people? That's what's going to happen. Thus says the Lord. I'm just reading scripture because I see what's going on out here in Southeast Asia. Just as plain as day. I can feel it through the spirit. All praise to Yahweh and his magnificent son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly call God is Yahweh, and the world ignorantly call Jesus, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay, because remember, the letter J wasn't implemented into the vocabulary, the English vocabulary, to the 1700s. Okay, people? So I'm going to end it there. I want to give double honors to my elders. I want to give thanks to the brothers out there teaching and preaching throughout the earth. I want to thank my brothers that's holding my hand within the Battle Axe in Dallas, Texas. I want to thank my beloved brothers within GMS that's teaching and preaching throughout this earth, because those elders, that's I just take my hats off to them. I love my brothers. They've done a marvelous work under Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and also various camps that's calling on the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, that's believing in the 12 tribe chart, and know through the spirit that we're scattered throughout this earth. Okay? That's who I want to commend. Okay? And that's teaching a similar doctrine. Okay? Because the nation of Israel have awoken, and we're still being awakened and shaken up. Those bones, dry bones, are being put together, and we want this thing to take place, because we got next. Because Esau, Edom, okay, the border of wickedness, referring to Malachi 1, and read 1 through 4. Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's why all this chaos is taking place, because the children of Israel have awakened from their sleep. And the Most High, Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai, are making beautiful chess moves on these devils. So I'm going to end it there, like I said. And I hope this was, and pray that this will be edifying to the listening ear, that if any man have an ear, they can hear. If any man have eyes, that they can see, because all that have eyes can't see. All that have ears, they are not going to be able to hear this message. So I'm going to end it there. Again, I'll say shalom.